Okay, we've all been there, right? You walk out of a store or you close a website and you've bought something you had absolutely no intention of buying. It happens again and again, and it kind of feels like a mystery. So what is actually going on in our brains at that moment? Well, let's break it down and look at the hidden mechanics behind that unplanned purchase.
It all starts so innocently. You're just running errands, or maybe you're just casually scrolling online. You've got a mission, you know what you're there for, and then you see it. Something that wasn't on your radar at all, not even close.
You might have even had a list, either on your phone or just in your head. Super simple stuff: milk, bread, maybe some batteries. But I can guarantee you, nowhere on that list did it say, "Goofy pineapple-shaped ice tray."
And in that exact moment, this split-second debate just ignites in your mind. You know the logical part of your brain is waving this huge red flag, but there's this other, much stronger feeling that's pulling you in the complete opposite direction.
And just like that, the deal is done. It's in your shopping bag or it's on its way to your house. And it's only later, maybe hours later, that the big question finally hits you. Why on earth did I buy that?
So that question, that why, brings us right to the heart of the unplanned purchase. We've got to look at that weird conflict between how right it felt in the moment and how confusing, or let's be honest, how wrong it feels later on.
And that is the absolute key. The decision wasn't logical. It wasn't careful. It was a total gut reaction. And it was driven by this quick, powerful feeling that basically just screamed, yes, this is a good idea. There was no time for a pros and cons list. It was just pure emotional instinct. So, where does that powerful feeling even come from? Well, it's not random, I can tell you that. It comes from triggers that are a lot of the time hiding in plain sight. The whole process doesn't start when you see the item. Nope, it starts way earlier with how you're feeling and the environment you're in.
This really illustrates that internal battle perfectly, doesn't it? Your logical brain is asking these really practical questions. But buying something, that's not always logical. It's often emotional. Your emotional brain is just looking for a quick fix for something. Boredom, stress, or maybe just the desire for a little reward. And in that moment, the purchase feels like the perfect solution.
And, of course, your environment is practically designed to help that emotional brain win the fight. Physical stores, shopping apps, websites, all of them are masterfully built to just present you with options you weren't even looking for. But once you see them, they become incredibly hard to ignore.
Okay, so how does all this build up to that split-second yes? This is that critical moment where we justify the whole thing to ourselves, and believe me, it happens faster than you can even blink, all by using some pretty powerful mental shortcuts.
Okay, the first and probably the most powerful of these shortcuts is what's called the small price illusion. It's basically this automatic belief that if something is cheap, it doesn't really count. It's just a few bucks, right? So we just assume it has no real impact on our finances.
Because the price is so low, the purchase just flies right under the radar of your financial brain. It doesn't trigger that big loud "warning, this is expensive" alarm. It feels harmless, so your brain just doesn't even bother to analyze it. You simply don't think twice.
And the second you decide to buy it, bam, your brain gets its reward, an immediate hit of dopamine. That little feeling of satisfaction of getting something new. It's actually addictive. Your brain loves that feeling, and it files it away to remember for later.
And that instant good feeling? Well, that becomes the engine that powers a long-term and often unconscious habit. It creates what we can call the reward and regret loop. But here's the catch, right? That initial high is just temporary. It fades. And once that excitement wears off, it's often replaced by a completely different feeling, regret. It's what we call delayed regret. But by the time it shows up, well, the decision's already been made. The action is done.
So this creates a really powerful cycle. It starts with a trigger. Maybe you're feeling stressed, or you see a targeted ad. That leads to the purchase. You immediately get the reward, that hit of satisfaction. But eventually, that reward fades, and regret can start to set in. The cycle then just kind of lies dormant, waiting for the very next trigger to start the whole thing over again.
So, if this loop is so common, is it just a personal weakness? Are we just bad with money? Well, not exactly. And that brings us to a really crucial point. There's a system that's shaping you. This is not random at all. It is all happening by design.
Now, this system is built on a few key components. You've got marketing, which creates the desire in the first place. You have product and store design, which makes things easy to find and beautiful to look at. And then you have timing, which is all about presenting the perfect offer at the exact moment you're most vulnerable.
The really critical thing to understand here is that these elements, marketing, design, timing, they are not working in isolation. Oh no,
They are engineered to work together with one single goal: to make the path to buying a super smooth, easy slide, and to make the path of resistance a really difficult uphill climb.
And this right here might be the most important takeaway of all. You don't keep buying things you don't need because you lack self-control or because you don't know any better. You do it because these powerful systems are shaping your decisions in the heat of the moment. They're leveraging your emotions, your environment, and your brain's absolute love for an instant reward.
All of this works together, quietly, gradually, day after day. Until one day you realize the act of buying something you don't need doesn't feel like a mistake anymore, or even an indulgence. It just feels completely normal.